Entertain us.
We are live.
Welcome to Session 9 of our Sea Dogs GURPS campaign. I am Gigermann, today's GM. For better or worse.
Hey.
Most likely worse.
Well, who knows? Anybody got any business to take care of first?
Nope.
Wait, we're doing bio breaks right now?
But
Well, that too, I guess. Anybody?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Going into episode 9, I got 8 unspent points.
All right. Well, we do have a couple of things to sort out first. Specifically, things that were found on the rumjack by people rummaging about.
Oh yeah. Not me.
With the added benefit of having a week to think about what exactly it is that you might have found.
Monkey skull.
Not a monkey skull. Although, if I had thought of that. For starters, Hayden was digging through the books and charts and such, and one thing that he did find of interest was that they were in possession of a current British Navy code book.
Oh.
And some schlub should in no way have that in his possession.
And the Admiralty needs to know right away that some schlub had it.
It is.
Are code books ID to who is the owner of the code book?
I don't know if they are identified to the owner, but I would suspect that they are at least dated. And this one is dated within like 6 months. So it's relatively new.
Okay, then Hayden will take that, and I will just decide whether I'm going to turn it over.
Now, it nothing in it that you haven't seen before, and honestly wouldn't do any good unless you're communicating with the Navy. But the rumjack was stationed at Kingston, so with the Jamaica Command headquarters being right there, it is possible it could have been stolen, or somebody gave it to him.
It's all part of the plan.
So, that's you, Sir Randall, in the little cubby between spars under the deck, found a cache of 9 florins.
Is that a lot?
Like $9 or $90?
I'm trying to think, what does that compare to? If I recall correctly, florins are...
About tree fitting.
Let's see, I've got 12.5 florins to 1 pound. They're worth a bit more than a shilling, but less than a half crown. And incidentally,
That is still useless information.
I was about to say, does that mean it's worth a third of a duck or half a duck?
they're worth
How many ducks can I buy with 9
They're worth more than
florins?
pesos. That might help you a little bit.
And that's
Nope.
when we murdered the GM, Your Honor.
Because you lost, what was it, 8 reales before?
No. Well, yeah, 8 reales equals 1 peso. I had 10. I'm now down to... What was it?
Hold on, I'm trying to... Oh, wait, I need
We're
to...
going to need like
no.
a big chart.
Well, you don't actually need a big chart.
Big flow chart. This equals this equals that equals this equals this equals that.
You don't have to. I've got a spreadsheet. Unfortunately, I haven't built it out to cover most of the Dutch money. Let's see, that's going to be...
You are a damn slacker. You had like a whole week.
Ah, there we go. Base 1 florin is 8 GURPS.
1 florin equals 8 GURPS.
So by comparison, 1 real is worth 3.2 GURPS.
And you found like 8 florins?
9 of them.
9, so that's like $17.
So you made your
I
money
did the
back at
wrong
least.
math.
Wait, say that again. Okay, so how many? Okay,
All right.
1 florin.
Are you writing
how many
something down?
GURPS? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, 1 florin equals 8 GURPS.
I got 9 florins. And 1 real, you said
So
equals
you got
3.2.
$72.
Yay!
Sorry,
I got a little
72 GURPS.
The closest British currency to it is going to be the shilling, and it's 1.6 shillings per florin. So you have a little more experience with those. But that was not all you found. You also found a dagger pistol.
Ooh, sweet. That's fun.
Now, when you pick that up, you will note that although it is somewhat fancy, it is not gilded or anything like that. You will also immediately, fiddling around with it, discover that it is not currently functional. Like one of the springs may be broken or something like that.
So
Cool.
it's like the perfect gun for me.
Now, as it happens, you happen to know a Venetian gun enthusiast who might be willing to fix such a thing
We do?
and or purchase it off you, as he is also a collector of fancy weapons.
What are you talking
There's
about?
the
The
dagger
monkey
pistol.
may take it.
I mean,
Now-
I neither confirm nor deny my monkey's actions.
As far as the actual stats for this goes, there are a couple of ways you can go about it. One, you can use the Fantasy Tech, I think, stats for a dagger pistol,
That's
and
unacceptable.
in
You
this
should
case,
stat it out.
in this particular case, you can probably get away with that because it's probably about right. The other way you could do it is actually treat it as a combination weapon and build it out of another pistol, like a pocket pistol or something. But it's going to be about that size, very small. Looks like it's probably a turn-off pistol too,
I don't know what that means.
where you unscrew the barrel to reload it.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I bet you that's what it is. Alright. But
Yeah, because it
All right.
doesn't have a RAM.
and you said, alright, I'll figure it out. But it's
Yeah,
not
so-
functional at the moment, so
Exactly. And also, in that stash, there's also a handful of, let's say, body drawings or wood cuttings.
you're saying porn.
Yeah, you found some guy. It's a guy's porn stash.
Well, this has to be protected from the eyes of the crew. I'll secure it.
I'll be in my bunk practicing my mantra.
And the other looting done from the Rumjack was you are currently now in possession of 4x English 4-pound cannon, also known as minions.
I thought we only had 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the Rumjack originally had 6 8-pounders and 4 4-pounders, and they said you could have the 4-pounders.
Sweet. Very generous.
How come those aren't on our on the Graceful Dame stats? You had like a week.
Yeah, about that. Weeks. Some weeks are bigger than others, as it turns out.
What a slacker.
So as far as those guns go, they are English made, and they could stand some cleaning. And one of them needs some serious work, like it's got a charge that didn't go off or something. Maybe got wet or whatever. So that one's going to need a little extra TLC. Because the question was asked before, and I never actually established it, the 2-pounders that you have originally require 3 men to work it. The 4-pounders require 4 men. You do not have enough men to operate all the guns.
Do we have to operate a broadside?
Well, before you had enough for 1 broadside. Yeah, so it takes 12 men to run all 4 2-pounders and then 16 to run all the 4-pounders. So if you had a full combat crew, you might be able to pull that off. But chances are pretty good you're not going to be running all of them at once. And when I say that, it only takes 1 guy to fire one.
And we won't be fighting both sides of the ship at the same time anyway, unless we're in a really bad situation.
Yeah, unlikely.
If I recall, though, if you don't have a full crew, all it does is it increases your reload time.
True. And like I said, it only takes 1 guy to fire it. So if you preload all of them, you can still pull that off. But that's your situation with the guns. I also did end up figuring out what the prices are for those, and just for the curious, I will tell you those prices. The 2-pounders are 800 GURPS each, and the 4-pounders are 1,600.
Are those listed anywhere, like on items or anything like that?
I have it on the spreadsheet on the logistics tab. I don't have it in items anywhere. That would be potentially useful, I suppose, now that I think about it.
Yeah, because I'm
In
thinking
case
if
you wanna
nothing,
sell 'em.
at the very least, Davino should probably have an entry under on the ranged for those guns for when we're, in the event we actually need to use them.
Yeah. Yeah. Does the vehicles doesn't have a slot for that, does it? No, it doesn't.
And just so everybody else is aware, that I already mentioned to Daniel that those things need to either be haunted. Well, those things should be haunted, and if they're not haunted, then Red, I think it is, needs to constantly.
Yeah.
He needs to be constantly injured on those, so he's convinced they're haunted.
Yeah, that could end up happening anyway. Sort of like the friend of ours in real life who has a uncanny knack for finding the corners of any table. Let me see. So
Teach him to cut corners.
Indeed. Okay. So, as part of my issues last week, I utterly failed to include Dora in anything that was going on.
She was sleeping.
So I wanted to make a couple of points about her reactions to the situations, which may end up being somewhat of a retcon. She was surprised about the ghost ship. I don't know that you would necessarily call her reaction fear. She was certainly pleased at the end of the rumjack. And when you guys went aboard, she insisted on going along. And as it turned out, she was able to identify her former captors and spit on their corpses.
What is she doing?
Good
Hanging
for
a
her.
pirate.
And another thing that we forgot to do last time was the malfunctions check for
Didn't say
the
we
graceful day.
forgot.
Well, I forgot. So I don't remember who was handling that, if anybody was designated, but we need a health roll for the ship at -3. The health is 12. Right. I think you were wanting Bold to manage that.
Maybe somebody with luck should do it.
That's no fun.
For you.
Oh, right. And I kept meaning to actually share the stupid NPC sheet so you could actually use it.
12. I have a 12. I can roll for that. I have a 12 and something.
Right. Wow, you made it.
You said 12, right?
12 -3, and you still made it.
Oh, sorry. Why is it -3?
Because it's -3. That's what it says.
Well, I was going to add a -3 thing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's too late. I was going to add a modifier on my other abilities to explain what the -3 is.
Right. Well,
I'll just put because the GM said so.
That's another thing we probably stand to upgrade is having some rollable stats on the vehicles. I think we probably discussed that before. All right, so no malfunctions are rolled for that period. Last thing, we had a bit of a back and forth about Hayden and his courtesy rank, and the one thing that I did go back and look and determine is that your courtesy rank, the status that would have been applied to the original rank, is applied for relative status purposes. So that's one thing that definitely does benefit from the courtesy rank. What was his original courtesy rank at the end?
5.
5? Do you know what the status is for 5? It's either 1 or 2, probably.
I think it's probably 2.
So, in a social situation, if you are dealing with somebody that is a status 2, and you have that courtesy rank 5, then you are treated as equal.
Okay.
So, we'll both probably forget that, but now that I've said it, it's been said. And with that, Sea Log, Tuesday, January 23rd, 1725. Basse-Terre, St. Kitts. Clear and warm with a light southeast breeze. Having escaped the Rumjack and sailed to St. Kitts, after waiting at anchor until morning, the expedition is preparing to go ashore.
All right.
Damn it, I clicked the wrong friggin' button.
You shouldn't have clicked the wrong button.
And scene.
Get all the ships out there.
It's only a month.
There is not a battle. I believe that would be Basse-Terre.
Oh, did you change everything over to nautical miles now?
I did on the Caribbean map. which we'll get to eventually. I don't think we actually needed it here. So yeah, Buster is over
So
there.
we're not gonna dock on Arsehole of Shitten Bay.
No, that's not the plan.
That
No,
is too bad.
You want to stay away from there, really. A bit of a smell. Yeah. So sun up about 6:30 in the morning, and you guys are ready to put to shore.
To go to shore to replenish our stocks. And did we have another reason for being here
Okay.
other than maybe selling stuff?
So to recap, that last trip took you 2 days, and you had just purchased provisions from Barbados, so you may not need to buy more here unless you just want to top off. But that is a thing. Also, Payne picked up some cotton, I believe it was.
Yes.
Yep.
We have some stuff to trade.
And he was planning to sell it here. Right, you had rum too. That was the special. I need to make a note of that. And I never did figure out how many bottles to the ton on that. Because I bet it's not as many as you think.
Seems like it'd be barrels by the ton.
Well, potentially, depending on this particular case. You actually bought a crate of bottles, but
Yeah, I remember that.
The ton burthen is based on a cask of Bordeaux wine, I believe. Right, so we need to see what everybody's going to do.
Well, I think I'm going with Sir Randall, to try to sell the stuff.
As you guys are prepping to disembark, the crew will come to Mr. Hayden and ask if they have permission to sleep ashore tonight, seeing as we're no longer being pursued.
I can't think of any reason why not. So, of course.
I will plan to sleep on the ship then.
I'm sure you can set up a watch shift or something.
Make sure you gentlemen don't get yourselves into any trouble. I don't want to have to be bailing you out of the governor's cell in the morning.
Oh, you could do a better safety briefing than that.
You get into a fight, you bloody well better win.
Don't die, don't kill, come back tomorrow.
Don't add to the population, don't take away from the population.
If you're taken into a prison, establish dominance quickly.
Oh,
right.
And doing one of each doesn't count.
Yeah, let's just reestablish what we're doing here. All right, so Divino is doing the dock work again, or no? This is Smith.
Yeah, I'll look around for the Smiths just to see if there are any interesting guns that people have. Else it'll be working. Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the guns are going to be kind of hard to find around here, or rather, a smith of guns. Do a universe reaction for that. Okay, you are not able to find a gunsmith of any real use to you.
Alright, let's go ahead and look for work.
So you'll wander around and see if you can make some money. Who's next?
I have stuff to sell.
Okay, so you are going to the merchants. And did Spencer say he was going with him? All right. How about the officery types?
So we've organised a watch rotation on the ship, right?
Yeah, something, just to make sure somebody's aboard. Or however you want to arrange that.
And St. Kitts is British.
St. Kitts is very British.
So Hayden is going to...
I say that it's very British. It used to be French. This is actually one of those islands that kind of went back and forth a bit, so it's actually a good mix of both French and English. But the flag is English right now.
The English flag is... They've got two flags. The English flag's up top. The French one is down the bottom at the moment.
With a smiley face painted on it or something.
And they just swap them when the French turn up. So Hayden's going to go and try and get some information regarding his son.
Okay, so you're going to look for naval office of some sort?
Yes.
What would that be? Town Hall Fortress, probably. All right, how about Rogers?
When I'm not on the ship, I will do my usual MO of hanging around the docks, seeing what ships are coming and going,
That's
people
kinda
watching.
boring.
Supervising.
You should get into trouble.
Well, I like to know what ships are coming and going.
I was looking for trouble. Let's see, who is Dora gonna run with today?
Besides, hanging around the docks is code for selling drugs.
Ah, okay.
Disguised as a nun.
Preschool prostitute ring.
For whatever reason, Dora decided to hang out with Hayden today. In retrospect, I'm not sure why, but maybe she was just curious what kind of guy you are, because she never hangs out with you.
Okay, well, Hayden's a little awkward since he can't communicate with Dora at all, but he just shrugs and goes with it.
She just kind of followed you around and points at things from time to time.
So Hayden leaves the ship and she follows like a puppy.
Not like a puppy. More like a supervisor. Or maybe a scientist. Like a social scientist or something. Or maybe she just wants to go look at ships. There are a lot of ships. This is a busy port. As you guys are entering town, you're passing through the town square before you split off to your separate directions. And you hear off to one side a man in a gibbet asking for water.
What's a gibbet?
You don't know what a gibbet is?
Is that stocks?
Now I feel like I should have actually gone and got a picture of it just to be sure. No, it's the man cage. The hanging cage.
Only big enough to stand up in.
More or less. Unless you're creative, I guess.
Man, that must be a terrible experience.
It's
It
not
shouldn't have
pleasant.
been very bad.
The sign beneath the man who's very rough looking. Says grave robber.
Oh, I'm curious now.
Yep, you're a grave robber too, aren't you?
Well, not yet.
I have not robbed a single grave.
Do you give the man a drink?
Well,
Or you just go and taunt him like like it's your civic duty, since he's on public display.
Who is this directed at?
Well, specifically Sir Randall, but anybody else can do as they like.
I will definitely. I'll bring him some water, and if I have any, like maybe a crust of bread or something.
I don't know. Is that legal?
Oh, is that legal?
Pull a Snickers bar.
If anyone has the charitable disadvantage, you're almost compelled to do it.
I don't think anybody does.
I'm not necessarily charitable, but I am curious and chummy.
He wants to know about the dude, the grave the guy was throwing.
He's there.
If someone's being put into a gibbet, are they put in there for life, as in they're going to die, or is it a punishment as well?
I would say probably the normal thing for someone to do is if they are hanged, their body is displayed in a gibbet. They don't normally put them in there alive. Other than that, it could just be another version of the stocks, where they just put you out there for a few hours or a few days or whatever until they get tired of it. Depends on how creative the locals are with their punishments. But for the record, there are a couple of guards standing around, make sure nobody does anything they're not supposed to, like letting him out.
Nope, not gonna let him out.
All right, so Sir Randall is going to approach with some water and potentially something he was chewing on earlier. I don't know why he would be carrying some bread around otherwise. Merci beaucoup. You're a good man.
So, grave robbery. What brought that about? Most people don't generally see consider grave robbery.
Oh God! Get away from him! Get away!
It was all a misunderstanding. Of course,
something sneaky and underhanded.
There is something about his expression that makes you feel like this man is up to something. But, Article's like that too. Maybe he's just weird.
Article has no idea what you're talking about as he gives you that smirk.
And as he speaks, you do detect that he has definitely got a French accent, although he speaks English very well. And Article will note a hint of something Germanic in it. Possibly he's from northeastern France, the Lorraine, perhaps.
Holy crap! I don't speak German. How do I not speak German?
Well, he speaks every bloody thing else.
Prussian.
Right. You asked about the grave robber.
Yep. So what's his story? Tell me your story, and I'll leave. I'll finish. I'll ensure you finish this water skin.
Oh, my story is way too long for that. As to the grave robbery, I was found in an open grave. That is true, and I did have a shovel. It is possible that I used said shovel on said grave. However, I am not normally given to such things.
He sounds like a liar.
I didn't rob the grave because I didn't open the casket, sort of deal.
Well, I did remove certain objects from the grave. But again, misunderstanding.
I'm trying to establish how the misunderstanding is here.
I told them it wasn't what it looked like.
What was it? What was it supposed to look like?
He was clearly trying to kill the merman inside.
Oh, really? Tell me all about it.
I wonder if you might do me another favor. After which I might be willing to discuss my life story more at length.
I
It's
gave
a
him
fetch
the
quest.
raised eyebrow. Like, I'm interested to hear more, but I am not a non-committal.
It's a fetch quest.
I would very much like to speak to the bailiff. Unfortunately, the those men over there with the guns and the lobster coats won't allow me to go speak to him myself, and they won't fetch him to come talk to me here. I wonder if someone could go deliver a message to the bailiff on my behalf.
Let's see. What were you I'll take your message, but I'm a bit curious. What were you seeking in said grave?
Well, if you deliver my message, I will show it to you.
Definitely 2 eyebrow raises, or both eyebrow raises.
Now they're whacking.
Seems harmless enough then. Just set off or to just ask a message be sent, then it is a deal.
And go to the bailiff and tell him exactly these words. Who will help the widow's son?
Who will help the widow's son? Hold on, let me write that down.
And then after that, tell him that I wish to be released, and if he releases me, then I will trouble him here no longer, and I will leave.
I confirm with him. Who will help the widow's son? Correct?
Just like that.
I will count your message sent. However, is there a major sense of urgency, good sir, for this, or may I take care of some additional tasks that I have for myself?
My poor legs beg your urgency. If my mind does not.
Geoffrey is his name?
Geoffrey de Salamon, à votre service.
Geoffrey Salamon. All right. Geoffrey, I'll see what I can do.
Merci beaucoup.
And whatever the French, you're welcome. And
all right.
I'll look to Payne. It's like, well, I think we need to make a quick stop at the bailiff's.
It'll take you a bit to find out where the bailiff is. Article's going with, I presume. Is everybody else splitting off at this point, or already split off?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Article and Sir Randall go to the bailiff, and Sir Randall delivers his message on behalf of the man in the gibbet.
I'm totally gonna tell him this is gonna come back and bite us in the butt.
The
Did you not
bailiff.
see that guy? He had an ill-favored look.
As you speak the words, the bailiff sort of drops his visage a little and asks you, "Did he have a ring like this one on his hand?" And you realize that he did indeed. And in fact, when he was telling you the words, he was sort of wiggling it in your face.
And I will respond as such. Yes, he did indeed.
What was up with the ring?
He had
Let's describe the ring.
us to such a degree that he ensured that I noticed it.
I don't actually know what the ring looks like right off the top of my head.
Terrible.
And
Terrible
in
to me.
retrospect, that probably is one of the first things I should have done.
My God, the
I
ring
may
has a
have to
glamour on
revisit
it. I
that.
can't remember it.
So the bailiff, upon hearing the ring and the words, is clearly disappointed, and but he turns to his assistant nearby and orders that the man be released.
Oh, but I will definitely go with him. I want to be there when he's released.
I think Spencer is going to linger briefly and inquire about the ring. I don't know how you would go about doing
Oh, yeah,
that.
I guess we could always. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Well, I suppose you would start
Does
with
the ring
reaction
sort of
slash
indicate? Yeah. Okay.
reaction slash social engineering.
Reaction is obviously poor. Diplomacy is better. Nope, not better.
But
He
not
doesn't want
great.
to talk about it.
The nature of that is not for the public knowledge.
Huh.
However, you do see enough of the ring that you could potentially reproduce that if you were to draw it or something.
And as soon as we're clear, I think I might do something like that in my pocket notebook. Damn it!
Well, that doesn't mean you actually don't draw anything. It just may not be 100% accurate.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. We'll skip around a little bit and see what Hayden is doing. So Hayden was going to
He
the
was going
fort,
AFK.
and he's going to bugger off and do something else. Let's go with Davino.
Yes.
And
He needs to get into
you
a fight.
are looking for work. What did I do with that last time? I think it was an IQ check to look for work.
Would it be perchance be a bit easier since that was a Spanish port and this is English?
It was based on the size of the port, which is pretty small at this point. I think you're going to be at a -2 for that. And you won't have a language barrier in this case, which I think was further hindering you at the time. So you start asking around, and you can't seem to find anybody that's willing to pay you a wage for picking up heavy things and putting them over there.
Well, alright then.
Yeah, well. And let's see. Rogers is watching traffic.
Anything interesting or of note?
It's a rum jack
Let me
sail in
see.
with the crew. It's all the dead crew. Like, wait,
Or
what?
unexpected?
Where did that go? Is that not here? I'm sorry, I lost my note place there. I could swear that. Oh yeah, okay. No, that was on. That was later. Well, I will tell you that you did hear a snippet of a conversation where somebody was talking about they had heard that the Peter, the Emperor of Russia, has turned up gravely ill and is not necessarily expected to last through the winter.
He's got COVID-19.
That would be Peter the Great, as we would know him now. And yeah, he's about to die.
Gotcha.
Let's see, Hayden. You are looking for an audience with somebody in records.
Correct.
So you can do the reaction / social engineering to see how you fare.
I shall do a savoir-faire military for a good reaction.
That seems reasonable. Wow. That was
Tried
a
to
really
fail.
shitty roll for having succeeded at it. And apparently the records guy has nothing to do right now, and he will take your meeting. You don't learn a whole lot here, but in discussing your son's situation, one thing you do pick up that you hadn't before was if he was taken as a prisoner of war, which is your current expectation, then after the war was over, he would have been returned. And there would have been a record of that. Now, that there would have been a record wherever he was returned. It's possible he was returned all the way to England or somewhere locally. If that were the case, it would have been Jamaica, probably. And if he wasn't returned, then he either died in prison or escaped.
Okay. And
so once again, you've got a little negative information. That is, you learned a couple of things that aren't true.
And if someone is returned, would they normally be returned to like active service? Would he have to report in?
I would think yes. I think that's probably true, that he would still be considered in active service. Now, he was private, though. He was on a privateer, so he wasn't actually Navy.
Right.
But since they were a privateer, they would have been treated as a prisoner of war, and they probably would have been on some kind of record somewhere.
Does this guy know? He said he would have likely returned to Jamaica. Yeah.
That's my guess. Jamaica is the closest big naval base in the Caribbean. As far as yeah, that's probably the closest to Havana, assuming he was taken prisoner in Havana. In which case, you would have probably seen that record already. Now, the war ended in February of 1720, so that was 5 years ago.
Okay. And there's no record of him coming through here at all as a either pre or post.
They don't have any further. They do have some pre-record of the Cardinal Virtue having entered and cleared port here, but that was before the war or during the war, not necessarily after.
Okay. If that's all I'm going to get from this guy, I will thank him. I will offer to buy him a drink if he wishes to catch up afterwards.
He may take you up on that. Free drink's a free drink.
I'll ask him if he can recommend a good place.
Oh, we can indeed. And you will make some recommendations. Sir Randall and Spencer. So,
Dr. Spencer.
Dr. Spencer.
Get it right.
Yeah, but you're not a doctor.
Everybody calls me one.
We have the cotton that needs to be sold. We have potential passengers, freight, and also possibly the purchase of more speculative
Well, before
cargo.
that, we have to go talk to Dude and make sure, he's actually released and everything.
Oh, right.
Try to skip us out of that. We see how it is.
Okay. On your way back, then, Article is distracted momentarily by a female voice calling his name. It sounds vaguely familiar. And he turns around and sees a girl that he knows as Miriam, with whom he occasionally interacted when he was interred at Bedlam. She appears to be wearing her night clothes and doesn't seem altogether here. And she's saying something about how nice it is they've let him out for some air and exercise.
Okay, let's see. Look at me. Advantages and disadvantages here.
Sir Randall is witness to all this, of course.
Oh dear. Now I have to look that up because this is the first time it's actually rolled. So
Actually,
there is
second
actually
time.
some. Well, I mean, so there's actually someone there. She is actually there.
I don't know, is she?
Well, it's going to depend on how Randall is reacting there as well.
So do you turn to Randall and say, do you see her?
No, I'm actually looking up Phantom Voices.
Oh, right, okay.
So
Let's
crazy
see.
lady
So
talking to him
right
about
now I'm reacting, and people seeing me react are going to be reacting to a -2. And the voices may trigger a fright check as necessary. Interesting.
Well, before you start making any sort of rolls like that, Sir Randall is momentarily distracted by the fact that there's some strange woman talking to Article. Like she knows him. And she doesn't seem altogether here. And she seems to be in her night clothes.
good lady, you seem to have wandered away from your home. Are you okay?
Oh, no,
Spencer?
I'm fine. I've had my medication today.
Spencer, are what do you recommend? This poor woman seems to have wandered off from
Before
wherever.
before you can quite get all that out of your mouth, someone from behind runs up and catches the lady by the arm and apologizes profusely for her bothering you and starts to take her away. And Miriam sort of turns back around and waves back at Articles and says, "Hi, nice to see you again."
Yes, very, very nice. Let's see. How do
Very
we
strange. She seemed to know you. Did you know her?
What? No, of course not.
Seemed very adamant.
It's like totally reacting, as if he's hearing other things. We should go talk to the creepy Frenchman. Yes, that's what we should do. Not now.
Are you okay?
You return to the gibbet to find that the Frenchman is no longer in it.
I told you this was going to be trouble.
Well,
I did too.
I'm sure. What?
What?
No, I'm asking you. You just said you told me this was going to be trouble.
You're acting quite strange, Sir Randall.
Blink, blink. I'm like, yes.
Are you sure you're all right?
And he starts looking at his rum bottle.
I do think I may have had a daunt too much of drum.
Why is the rum always gone?
Oh, also, Spencer, you're not entirely certain you did not see the Master of Crows mixed in with the background people.
I see him everywhere there. I'm not entirely sure that Sir Randall isn't actually him in disguise.
That's true. I wish I had thought of that.
Why do you think I keep my eye on him? It's going to be quite disturbing when I'm forced to murder him.
All right. Well, as I said, the gibbet is currently empty. Apparently, you missed him by a minute. Probably about long enough for someone to distract you.
Well, look around. Maybe we can see some of the dudes who were here, and they can direct us.
Yeah,
What direction?
I'll definitely ask around.
You gonna try to track him down?
Yes.
At the expense of your merchanting.
For now. I mean, the cotton's not going anywhere.
Yeah, actually, on that note, it only takes 1 day to sell speculative cargo, whereas it takes 2 days to find a seller to buy it, and all the other things. Everything else takes a base of 2 days. That one takes 1. I don't know why. All right. So you are going to be looking around for that guy.
Yes.
Yes. No. Perhaps. Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
will you be working the merchanting stuff at the same time?
Yeah. We'll ask around, and then could go back to the bailiff.
He's not going to want to talk to you.
Probably not. I'm trying to think. Is there? I really should put like spendthrift. No, wait, no. Is it spendthrift when you just kind of throw money around?
No,
Compulsive
that's
generosity.
compulsive. Well, that could just be compulsive spending.
Yeah. Well, I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
is hiring some kid
Compulsive
or local
carousing.
Oh,
to look around for me, kind of thing. While it's like, hey, tell me what you can about this person, and if you locate him, come find me at bar, whatever.
Well, you don't need a disad for that. You can just do it.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Just trying to think of who I would.
Well, the guards are there at the Gibbet. Anybody else? I suppose you could take a chance, find out if they saw that guy in the Gibbet before, and yeah. So you'll just start asking around. If you can spend some money to get that, you can get that.
Like pay a coin, and if you find them, I'll pay an additional coin, kind of thing.
That never goes wrong, like with Billy at Kingston.
Well, no one liked Billy.
I liked Billy.
Oh, you did? Well, I stand corrected then.
You liked Billy. Are you
Oh, yeah.
sure you're all right?
Poor
So
Billy.
let's go ahead and get some of the die rolling out of the way.
Yes.
We
No.
need. We'll start with Sir Randall, and he needs to find a buyer.
Can I assist?
You may.
Is that
Or you can do
just
it
a
for him.
merchant?
I mean, I
So-
guess there's no reason Randall has to do it himself,
Is this a merchant roll?
but it is a merchant roll.
Yeah, I have a 13 in merchant.
I have a 12. So
Pick your poison.
Spencer was teaching me. So I guess I'll roll to assist Spencer.
Try.
Those moments where I'm like, well, crap, I should have just rolled for myself.
We'll say that if I roll like utter crap.
Well, there you go.
I didn't, but not much better than you did.
Hey, one better.
You were able to find a buyer. So I need a roll on. I think you just need to roll 3d6
Trace
for the
D6.
price.
Am I wanting us critical success?
Well, you know, I was gonna say that should have been at a +2, but Jesus. Okay, I thought I had that open. I've got the other thing open. I don't need that thing open. Stand by. And there. Okay, you rolled. Oh, that's a backwards roll. It's like a
What?
reaction. It's like a reaction roll. It's backwards. So you might want to use luck on that.
Oh, so what you're saying is I need to critically fail.
Well, yeah. In this case, failure is better, but it is at a +2. Yeah, I realized later today I really should have made that a table. And when I say later today, I mean like 10 minutes before the game started. I've been having one of those days. Actually, today has been fine. It's the rest of the week that's been crap.
Wow,
gosh.
Mark.
Just wow.
One time that you don't want to roll like that.
Oh my god.
All right, one more
Modifier's
time.
acting all weird. Oh, for the love of bananas.
Oh my god.
That's a 9, mind you. The mod didn't add.
Okay, well, fortunately
Oh my
that doesn't
goodness.
necessarily completely ruin your day. So, well, actually, it
There goes
might
all
a
those
little.
great rolls. I'm not rolling anymore tonight, guys, just so you know.
Okay,
I burned
well,
through my...
if you sell to the guy that you found, it's going to be at a bit of a loss.
I'm wondering if I should try to utilize the doohickey, the serendipity at that point.
Well, if you wanted to do that, I think that would probably be a legitimate use of it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those situations where Randall's like, okay, well, we can sell to this guy or this guy or this guy, and they're all asking for a little. I'm like, and Spencer's going to go, no, we should not sell to these people. We should sell to, and then he just sort of points in a random direction, and he's going to, well, we should sell to that fellow over there who really needs some cotton right now.
For some reason, that guy that you pointed at was not anyone that you would have ever talked to. I guess maybe he just looked like he wasn't a merchant or something. But it just so happens he really needs some cotton right now, like a ton of it. Or two. So I'll let you re-roll that. And because it's serendipity, I won't take less than 100%.
Okay, let me see what I can do.
I don't know if I'd trust Mark to roll it though. Oh well. Okay, that's
wow.
hilarious.
They're both the same.
That's freaking hilarious.
Quite serendipitous.
It is
Indeed.
a little serendipitous.
All right, well, you managed to get it up to 130%. So
Yeah.
where does that leave us? You had purchased it for $11.25, but that was not the base price. The base price was $12.50 times 1.3. So you will sell for $16.25 per ton. And you will have made 500.
500 pounds?
500 GURPS. It's going to be 5 pounds, I think.
Wow, that's not much.
It's not a lot, but it's profit.
Well, we make back the amount that we spent.
So I
plus
think
an additional.
You spent 11 pounds and a bit on that, and you got an extra 5 back out of it. So you've actually almost, you've made a fair bit of profit off it. That's not too bad. Actually, I wonder if I've actually got that wrong. I think I only did that per ton and not for 2. It may be double that. I'll check that later. At any rate, profit was made. So, we will deal with the other 2 rolls. And that is the passengers and the freight. So those are both merchant rolls. Nobody has local area knowledge at 12 plus. I think everybody's using it at default. You can still assist.
I have the Americas, but not local.
Yeah, I think we've determined that a while back that the default on that is going to be pretty significant.
Yeah,
Who's going to roll? Who's going to assist?
I'm almost tempted to make Mark roll because we've seen how awesome he's rolling.
Yeah, it's totally going to work the opposite way. You know that.
I'm just rolling 3 dice here.
It's just merchant, right?
This is actual merchant in this case.
Oh, gotcha. That's funny. I didn't roll in the box. I rolled a 4 or 5. I dropped the dice. It was like 5.
Okay. Which one was that for? Was that passengers or freight?
Passengers, probably.
Okay.
And then the other one was cargo. Doesn't look there's no cargo leaving.
Okay.
And speculative. I'll do speculative.
So you are going to look for more.
Yeah.
All right. You can roll that too. Well, that one I might have to actually look up. So, Phil, you'll remember that there were some fairly heavy penalties based on the distance you had to go. So chances are pretty good those are not going to come back with anything.
Yep.
Let me see about your spec, though. Let's see, buying cargo. You're looking for a seller. I think all you need is the merchant roll. And in this case, you don't have any specific area knowledge that would help you figure out what to buy. But you will find... Is that going to be 2 lots? Where'd it go? Yeah, 3 to 5. Yeah, 2. So you got... I think that's going to be 2 lots of potential cargo. Now that's going to be random. Stand by 1 second. So I think what they have here is probably... Where to put that? Damn it. Oh, there we are. Yeah, they got sugar out the ass. Of course, everywhere here has sugar out the ass. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot. So chances are you could potentially buy some English goods going in and out. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of industry here other than the sugar, which sugar includes sugar products, so molasses, rum, that sort of thing. So, are you interested in purchasing stuff that you don't have specific information on?
No, I think we're going to, because we knew the cotton was needed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and you've mentioned before that sugar, like, everybody's got sugar.
Let's see, how'd you roll there? That was a decent roll, so I tell you what, I will give you a little bit of information. Port-de-Paix is the destination you currently have in mind, and they do have a demand for manufactured goods. So, that's not out of the question.
Yep, why not?
All right. Well, how much of it do you want to pick up? So you made all the money that you spent back, plus the.
So I would say probably spend what the money we just made back with the plus. Keep trying to roll, keep rolling it over.
Let's see. I need to. I don't want to take those goods off until we've settled that. Actually, what happens if I do? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so that should actually have been double. 250. And sold for double that, and I need to calculate 1625 times 2. That's not right. 1625 times 2. 3250.
He's doing all sorts of math.
God damn it. Okay, that's better.
He failed doing math.
I failed at spreadsheeting momentarily. All right, so you are looking at purchasing some more. I think I need to put that in miscellaneous. I'm going to set that aside because I don't know what to do with it yet. 3250. All right. So you wanted to spend that much on goods. So you will probably be getting 2 tons. And let's see that price roll again.
Hey, that one roll low.
This time you will not get the +2. And this time you want to roll low.
So it's a reaction roll. How about I
Here
just
comes
do
the
that?
18.
Right?
It is kind of a reaction roll, I suppose. Yeah, so it's a little expensive, what you found here. Now, you'll get the +2 on the other end. That might not be enough.
It'll be fine.
So, you can buy it or not buy it. You're no worse off.
Well,
Or does he
it's still
consider
got
this
value.
gambling?
It's basically gambling. All right, let's do this.
2 tons in. That's 25. Yeah, you can't do a full 3. You just keep it an even 2, or you want to spend all of that?
We'll keep it at an even 2, I guess.
That'll work. All right, so the end price was... Apologies for all this. 13, that's 120%.
So much mathing.
Almost done.
I'm all mathed out.
All right, so that's going to be, that's going to be $3,000 for the 2 tons. That's GURPS, not pounds. All right, so that is now settled. So you started posting your destinations around. You haven't gotten any sort of response on passengers or freight. And you poked around looking for some goods to buy. You managed to find some. It's a little more expensive than you wanted, but maybe you can make that up if you get lucky. Luckier. In the meantime, as you are posting the notices of your destination, a familiar face pops up. That of said gibbeted Frenchman, Geoffroy, who says, "Oh, you are going to Port-de-Paix, I see. I just so happen to be going that way."
Touch him.
Are you all right, sir?
Yep.
Just checking to see if I'm real.
Yes, indeed.
He seems to be doing that lately. I wouldn't think anything of it.
Surely
You
not.
disappeared like a ghost.
I do that sometimes.
And you very badly need a bath.
This is true, and I will see to that. But for the time being, I would like to purchase passage to Port-de-Paix at least. Perhaps onward if you happening to head to the Bahamas.
It's a possibility.
Actually, I Are we heading to the Bahamas?
You are, in fact, headed to the Bahamas.
But before passage can be booked, you had some information for me? Or a
Indeed,
tale
how
to
much
tell?
is that worth?
Passage to Port-de-Paix?
That's really cheap, dude.
Well, I don't know.
What if his story is really lame?
That's true.
With
Yeah, and I wrote down somewhere.
I would like to know about that ring.
exact
Uh,
found.
I am a little nosy.
the going rate, by the way, for a trip about that length to Port-de-Paix is about 12, 14 shillings, depending. That's just
Have
a
you the
base.
shillings to pay for your passage, sir?
I do, sir.
Well then, I have to look at Randall.
Yeah. We'll definitely allow you to purchase passage on our ship. And I will. But first, to the bathhouse. Yeah.
Indeed. Shall we go together?
Sounds like a plan.
I know a place.
Ow.
All right. So you guys will head off and take care of that. I'll give you some information here in a bit. Is Spencer going to be going along with that as well?
He's probably gonna be following along them, but I don't know how much he's gonna be paying a lot of attention. He might get distracted.
Well, there's that. Is anybody else going to do anything for the day?
Not I.
I think Rogers needs to get into something crazy. Some excitement even.
Well, that sounds like a great idea for you.
His time will come. It's actually funny. So I've been making the rolls for the treasure map events the whole time, and he's just been rolling shit this whole time.
That does sound like me.
It sounds like a thing you would do.
It does kind of sound like Carrie, yeah.
All right. Well, so at the bathhouse, you guys will have a discussion about his story here, and he will explain that he came here to visit an old acquaintance, and he wanted to settle out all his accounts
Bailiff, maybe?
not the bailiff. And he wanted to settle all his accounts before he can leave the Caribbean for good. As he says, it seems I've lived here before the mast for 100 years. It's time for me to move on.
You look really good for someone who's in his hundreds.
I know, right?
What's your secret?
Lots and lots of rum, well preserved.
That, I don't believe that. Not in the slightest.
Then you are not a stupid man.
Just like, what is going on with this guy? But hey,
I don't know. I'm kind of liking
amusing.
it.
I know. I'm kind of.
It's one of those. It's one of those where it's like he always looks like he's up to something, and I always look like I'm up to something. So you're like, crap, I don't fit.
As to the question of the ring, he will explain that he is a Freemason.
Ah. Okay.
As is the bailiff.
That seems like. Wait. Oh, right. Of course, you're a Knight Templar.
No, I'm not a Knight Templar. I'm a Freemason. It's completely different.
Uh-huh.
And he will explain that without getting into too many details, that the Freemasons help each other out.
Because they're Knight Templars.
Completely
Knights
different
Templar.
branch of the Illuminati.
We don't associate with those people. And that'll be day one, the 23rd. So, after that, Wednesday, the 24th, the winds are still a little weak coming out of the northeast. And you're kind of not expecting to get a whole lot of attention to your freight/passengers thing, never minding you've actually got a passenger now, so you basically just got to wait to get the new goods loaded, and you're pretty much ready to go whenever.
Assuming our crew is still alive.
Assuming your crew is still alive, and according to my random events, nothing happened in that regard.
Oh. They're not doing it right.
Well, it doesn't mean they're, yeah. I don't think the doc wants to hear a lot of interesting tales coming back from shore leave.
Can we use Randall's luck to have something interesting happen to our crew?
We have to wait at least another 30 minutes.
Now, I will say that Hayden, who spent some time, at least in the tavern last night, drinking with the clerk, did overhear a rumor that Blackbeard is still alive, and he's king of some remote island in the Bahamas. Of course, that's probably not the first time you've heard one of those stories.
Does this story
It's not
have
the
any
first
more
time.
credibility than the others?
Not really. As far as you know, Blackbeard got his head cut off and it was displayed in front of everyone. I mean, honestly.
Given what Hayden's seen lately, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
That's true.
He could just be carrying it around under one arm.
That is a thing, maybe. You hope not. So when do you want to leave? Are you going to leave today, or are you going to wait for potentially more responses? Anybody got anything to do in St. Kitts?
St. Kitts. Was there anything that you guys were doing with that code book?
Good thought.
I don't think so.
Are we keeping it?
I think it'd be useful to keep.
Nudge, know what I mean?
Hayden has Code of Honor soldiers. I don't know if that would compel him to turn it over.
I don't know that it would. I mean, you don't know who it was taken from if it was taken from someone. And if it was given on purpose, then it was given on purpose. Honestly, you have no idea how the hell it got there or why you might have it.
Hayden's going to assume stolen.
I think most people would probably agree with you.
So, yeah, I think, we'll just keep it. We never know when we might need to signal a English ship.
I have no idea how often they change those out.
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
What's that that episode in The Expanse where
Donkey balls?
Donkey Balls? Is there a Donkey Balls code in the code book?
No, there is not.
There
This
needs
is
to
all
be.
flag codes and that sort of thing. I mean, I suppose there's no reason you couldn't spell out donkey balls with the flags, but I don't know how many flags that would take. And it would be very confusing. But the question of, will you leave soon or will you leave tomorrow?
We have to spend at least another day to finish the searching for cargo, though, right?
Well, like I said, you could give up on that.
Nah, I think we should give it a chance because, I mean,
I'm not enthusiastic about the likelihood, but
right.
So you plan to leave then tomorrow morning?
sure.
Very well.
Hayden will restock his supply of opium.
Gotcha. You should have no problems getting more here.
How many days has it been since we were last in port?
Let's see, you left on the 20... Was it the 20th? Yeah, where's the damn log? Yeah, you left on the 20th, so today... Well, today would be the 24th, so 4 days. All right, so is anybody else going to do anything for day 2 other than refleshing of flu supplies?
I'm gonna check the pawn shop and see if there is one, and if there's anything interesting in there, gun-wise.
Well, there's certainly going to be a pawn shop. Let's see, define interesting.
Guns in non-standard form factors.
Okay. Tell you what, give me a universe roll for that. We'll call that a match.
Oh.
Everything's pretty standard here. In fact, there's a bit of a dearth of firearms. They say they are in somewhat of a demand here.
Well, all right.
Anybody else?
Is Hayden familiar with the governor of St. Kitts?
I would guess probably not directly.
Reactional?
For what?
The governor.
For what?
To determine if there's a relationship or not. It seemed to work really well for the other place.
If you're related? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Now, most of your activity was around Jamaica when you were in the Caribbean before, so chances are pretty slim that you would have any sort of relation to this. Now, that's specific to the governor. Now, if you were asking if there was just somebody here, that would be another story.
Well, Hayden will look up some old friends if there are any.
Now, there's a reasonable chance that you would have some old friends, Navy guys that might be here. And, in fact, given the role there is definitely a guy here that you know.
He retired here.
He probably retired here.
Hayden will endeavour to catch up, and if it's a guy that Rogers likely knows, then he's going to invite Rogers along as well.
Yeah, you guys traveled in completely different circles for the most part, so chances are the guys that you know are not guys that he knows, but you never know.
You never know.
If he were not away, I would have him roll. Having said that, if nobody else has anything specific for day 2, the 24th.
Yeah, I was thinking of Spencer maybe trying to track down Miriam and her family, find out what's going on there.
Okay.
But I didn't have any idea how he would go about doing that.
Well,
And,
this town is only about population of about 2,000, so it's not that hard to find
Without
somebody.
anyone present.
And
That's another matter.
And for myself, I'm going to the bar and asking if there are any girls there.
You want to roll to see if you get drunk first?
Am I getting drunk?
That's true. You haven't. You don't have one in this port yet.
It's going to be
Not
also going to be
yet.
the governor's.
Tell you what,
daughter.
make a sex appeal roll, and we'll see if you got one in this port.
I get one in this part.
You're gonna roll to see if you can do the girls. Holy crap! You might have actually pulled it off.
You magnificent bastard.
Maybe not one you're the proudest of, but you made it happen. You earned your Witcher card.
Woohoo!
Is somebody else doing something?
Hayden will also spend the day to get his clothes cleaned and pressed and all that, because they're probably pretty rank by now.
And repaired.
That's actually a pretty good idea. How much would that cost to do that sort of thing?
Probably
I
done at
don't
the
know, but you
bathhouse.
know what?
Cost of living?
Well, that's you wouldn't pay your entire cost of living.
I have
for that.
12 pesos.
Yeah, but
I
think he
wouldn't
means
that be
wouldn't it be
covered,
covered by-
cost of living?
Well, it would
Yeah.
be covered by that, but you're not paying regular cost of living anywhere because you can't. But I would probably say a shilling, and that's probably good
How
enough.
many shillings are in a peso?
I was going to ask how many in a florin, but I think I have that data.
Well,
I don't.
being as you are in a town, you could potentially get that converted to
I'm
something
gonna have
a
to
bit
go
more
get
usable.
those converted to real money.
Let's see. I think shillings are 10
Is
gurpees.
there
No,
a
5
bank
gurpees.
somewhere?
There is most certainly a bank,
There it is.
at least.
No, I was
See,
looking
you
at
had pesos,
I have 12 pesos. Yes, sir.
so you got 4 shillings to the peso. Looks like.
What happens when you need pesos, though?
I'm not going to trade in all of my pesos.
And what did I tell you the florins were? There were
1.6 shilling to the florin.
okay,
So
Eight
one
gurpees.
florin is 1.6.
you can convert that.
Let's see, math.
So how many shillings did you say it would cost to get the clothes, squared away?
Oh, I figure one's probably good.
What would really help is a shared note that has the number of gurpees that every denomination is worth.
Get
Well,
on
we
it.
have a spreadsheet that has exactly that.
What is 0.4 shillings?
0.4 shillings. Let's see here.
Less than half a shilling.
All right, yeah, it's under currencies.
It's a shillingth.
Shilling.
I don't think that's right. Looks like 2 gurpees.
What is a shilling to a gurpee?
What is it? 5? 5 GURPS to the shilling. Yeah, I built out all the English stuff and the Spanish stuff. I hadn't built out all the Dutch stuff, so that one's throwing me off. At any rate, not to get bogged down in friggin' currency conversion, but you
Would have
can
been easier to
convert.
keep it in GURPSes. Just saying.
And just say you have this many GURPSes in English money, this many GURPSes in Dutch money.
That's no fun.
And then the boat sank.
Just gonna throw this Dutch money overboard. It's useless. Plook.
While Hayden's waiting for his clothes to be cleaned and stuff, he'll also read notices.
Actually, you can get the notices and stuff at the bars typically. Pubs, taverns, whatever.
And if there is a show taking place, he'll get a little bit of culture.
What is this, Thursday? Yeah, this is Thursday. No, Wednesday. Oh, I imagine there's something. So you guys take some relaxed time not being pursued by bad guys and get cleaned up. Spend a little of your money while the crew spends a lot of theirs. Because that's what sailors do.
Governor's Ball?
I don't know about Governor's Ball, unless you're
There should-
trying to get into a Governor's Ball.
There should be one, so hijinks can happen.
I was trying to get away from the hijinks here.
Oh.
And we're like, fuck
We
that.
want
hijinks.
Hijinks are for later.
The hijinks.
Tell you what, give me a reaction roll, universe reaction for the Governor's Ball. Chances there's one on
Excellent.
24th January. Yeah, not today.
I feel cheated.
Today is not significant enough for a Governor's Ball.
Anything interesting in the notices?
Beware the ghost ship.
I don't have anything. Let's see. What the hell?
And just to keep you on your toes, what sort of show is on?
It's a Korean show. It's called Fuck You.
I love that show. And I think that's Vietnamese, actually.
It might be. Damn it. And now you screwed my train of thought.
Yay! We should get points for that.
It wouldn't be worth it today. Today is not that hard.
Which makes it all the more fun.
I can't remember what the other question was. So we're moving on. So you got some manufactured goods, 2 tons worth that are loaded onto the ship. And on the morning of the 25th,
What's the weather like?
your wayward crew starts coming aboard. So overnight, there was some rain in the morning or in the evening, and then overnight the winds just kicked way the hell up.
Sorry about that, guys. That was my fault.
As the people come on
They've,
board, we'll be checking their temperatures and any signs of flu.
So last
Like
night
symptoms.
it was a little loud and fluttery, but it's stabilized somewhat now. And you're ready to clear port. So everybody's climbing on board. You need to plot a new course for Port-de-Paix.
Second star to the right. On till morning.
So that is going to be, your guess at this point is going to be 3 and a bit days. That would be navigation check, -2 for the distance, +2 for your tools, gives you an even roll.
Navigation. I'll have to pick that skill up at some point.
And assist +1.
All right. You guys will have 2 planning plot points for this particular leg of the voyage if something goes weird. And yeah, that's so yeah, everybody comes aboard. Nobody's coming in with any stories or awkward questions for the doc. At least not yet. Giffroy comes aboard. He doesn't bring much. He's got a small bag of things and what looks like probably a sword wrapped up in some furs or something.
Oh, God.
He's sort of getting settled in on the deck and sees Claude as Claude comes aboard, and you look and see him sort of raise an eyebrow as Claude passes. But he doesn't say anything.
Well, considering Spencer's the only one that knows she's a she.
You suspect you're not the only one now.
All right.
Some of us are paying more attention to what you call her and what pronouns you use.
I don't know what you're talking about. Speaking of, I should probably check my, whether I'm being absent-minded.
So there's a fairly stiff breeze. It ought to be good sailing today, and it's coming from the right direction, so shouldn't have any trouble clearing port. And you're on your way.
Hark!
Adventure is calling. I hear it. It's out
Are you
there.
picking up?
Take it. It's yours. Honk, honk. It's really hard to practice social distancing on this boat.
It is very hard to do that. And one of the things you realize as Geoffroy is getting settled in is there's nowhere for him to sleep, really. Of course, he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, I just sleep on deck. I don't care.
We've got at least a spare bed, don't we?
Actually, no, you
3,
don't.
4,
You've got all
5,
13
6, 7,
filled.
8.
Granted, some of the crew is not in their beds all the time, so technically somebody could hot seat. And in fact, if you had a full crew, that's exactly what would be going on. All right. Well, you are not there. You are there. And your current route is going to take you through the middle of the Virgin Islands. Well, actually, the south of the Virgin Islands, and the north of Puerto Rico, and then you'll be following the coast of Santo Domingo over to Port-de-Paix. And one of the first things out of the port, you get whoever's on lookout calls out a sail. Spotted 1 point off the larboard quarter.
Uh-oh.
And not too much longer after that, you get the call. It's a flying English ensign, and looks like they're far enough back that looks like they're headed into St. Kitts. Not a Navy ship. Looks like a merchant. Oh, man, you know, I totally screwed that up.
You shouldn't have screwed it up.
I say that every time. Now it's fixed. All right. I got too many damn windows open now. It's starting to look like my boss. All right, so we got traffic. We got stuff. I need the day's business, the navigation roll at +2, which Hayden has been doing, and I think he's been getting help.
Since
And he
we're
got
under
help.
no particular rush or anything like that, this will be a teaching moment.
All right.
Okay, then instead, my assist would have been an independent calculation to check against the students.
Very well.
Sadly, I failed to focus.
It looks like I need to change my stuff here. All right, wind is 5 today. If that's still correct. And let's see. What are we doing? 80. Doing stupid spreadsheet shit again. Okay, that's right. And 265. Okay. Wow. Holy God. Oh, it's because I got other modifiers on there. Okay.
Did you lock the sailing token on the map?
No. You're not able to move it?
Nope.
Interesting. I think the later version has some weirdness with tokens on these non-combat maps. Let's see. How'd you guys do on the navigation? So you got... okay, so the end result was success by 7. So that's good for the 10%. And now we need the control roll, -2. Mogridge was rolling that. We had chat doing that. Is chat on the ball today? Can they roll a 3d6 for us?
$11
Indeed.
from Captain Button.
Let's see, where does that put us? Okay, yeah, that's a success. So that'll get us 20%.
I dropped a new token on the map. I can move that one. I just can't move the one was already there.
Wait, you added that one? Now I have moved it, and I bet you can't.
And that is correct.
We have discovered a thing. All right, and the lookout roll. We had we have Rogers listed on there, but I think he was subbing for somebody. I don't remember who was actually doing that. Is that Davino? I don't think that was Davino. So who's going to be the it guy for the scouting role? Should we start putting Sir Randall up there?
Well, we've got Claude in the ship assignment map at the up there in the top.
Yeah, we want a PC to roll though.
Let's stick Davino up there. He's been quiet.
Who's Davino?
I am super quiet. Let's see.
I was per base seamanship.
Okay, then this would be an effective -1.
Okay. It's possible you crash into something.
I think we're going to crash into something, guys.
I didn't do it. It's not the buffer panel, I swear.
All right, so today you guys are hauling ass with the extra wind. You're making over 10 knots. Let's see.
Fast.
That is very fast. So far, the fastest you've been able to make was 6 or 7. Let's see. You guys leave just right after sunup, probably. Need to adjust my departure time. Damn it. That's better. And that is on the 25th. All right, so with that, you're going to make 177 miles today, nautical miles. So yeah, that should put you through the Virgin Islands and almost all the way past San Juan. So you are in Spanish waters for the latter part of the day. A little bit after you start making around the Virgin Islands or so, you get a call out for a sail at 3 points aft the starboard beam. So to the right and behind. And it's a Dutch ship crossing to the southwest. Looks like probably headed toward Curacao or something like that. Probably headed out of St. Martin. And they're neutral right now, so you don't care. And also during the day, Davino starts working on the guns, getting them cleaned up, and with Red as part of the detail, he happened to be swinging around the wad hook sort of randomly and accidentally smacked a passing seagull and killed it dead. And it landed flat on the deck, and everybody's just like, "Oh my God, what have you done?"
What did you do?
Do I need to explain that to anyone?
I'm gonna
Seagull.
guess
It's not an albatross.
Yeah, I thought it was albatrosses that were
It's a
not to be
seabird.
harmed. Oh, any bird. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not specific to albatrosses.
That was just from the rhyme.
Yeah. Anyway, he feels really bad about it, but what can he do?
Not
Ruined
kill
it.
the seabird?
Well, he can't bring it back to life.
He sure can try.
And Geoffroy pretty much stays out of the way for the most part, although he seems very comfortable with the sea life. He's clearly been aboard a ship or two. And in fact, later in the day, he will come to Hayden and say, "You know, it's okay if you put me to work. I'm just
you
sitting
sure?
here like a fifth wheel. Might as well.
What can you do?
I can do just about anything on this ship, probably."
Hayden will stick a cigar in his mouth and say, "Can you operate that loader?"
I have a Class 2 rating.
Bay 12, please.
Exactly. I was trying to remember what the line was. Thank you.
And I guess
Hayden.
that means Roger steps in as Hicks. Somebody wake up Rogers.
It's not my shift.
I need to watch that movie again. It's so good.
It has been a while.
It's aged pretty well, actually.
Yeah, it has, oddly
Well,
enough.
I watched it not too long ago.
They did a lot of practical special effects. That's one of the
Uh-huh.
reasons.
Yeah, that's why it still
Well,
works.
now, I still haven't gotten around to watching the director's cut of the first one, and I keep meaning to.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that either. I've only seen the original.
But not to get distracted. The evening passes more or less uneventfully. I don't think there was any weather issues for today. 25th? No. Yeah. Yeah, that's 25th. I think I screwed that up earlier. Yeah, so there was a bit of rain here in the evening, but moving on to day 2. Friday, 26th January. Somewhere off the northwestern coast of Puerto Rico. We will get a day's business navigation roll. +2. Usual stuff.
We'll need a roll from the chat room.
And we will need a control roll from the chat room. Let's see, I think that should actually be -3. I think I screwed that up earlier.
We have an 11.
Which in this case will be 1 short. Not enough for a control issue, but that will not get us the 10%. So we will be down to 10 even. Not as fast today. And the scouting roll from Davino at -1.
The dice roller bot in the chat, it doesn't do things like modifiers or anything like that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just explained
Oh, was he?
to
Was he trying to
Captain
do?
Button. He did
I wasn't looking.
a roll before.
All right. Well, here's hoping you don't run into anything. All right. Not as fast today. Only about 9.5 knots, which is still kind of ridiculously fast. And you covered quite a lot of ground. So 230 nautical miles from there.
You should update the token location and delete one of them.
I think it's going to put you right around there. So you're still in Spanish territory at this point. And coasting. That is, sailing along the coast. And not a whole lot happened in this day. The weather, what is today? So the weather is mostly cleared up at this point. And the winds have died down a hair. Need to update that.
So we're sailing through the Virgin Islands at the moment.
No, you are well past the Virgin Islands at this point.
Doesn't look like it to me.
That's because it's not updating.
Really?
We had that problem last time too.
This is a token. This is not a pin.
Well, the pins are tokens.
Okay, so you weren't actually using the pinning thing.
No, that doesn't. Well, that doesn't work as well because you can't lock token scale on that. So I've put a pointer where you should be roughly.
If you remove that token from the map, I'll drop a new one on and I'll just move it along to your.
And I won't touch it. So, sometime later in the day, Ollie is on watch, and he's poking around with the hurdy-gurdy a little bit. And Geoffroy is on deck and says, "Hey, do you know this or that song?" It's like, yeah, I can play that. And so Geoffroy starts to tell a story / poem / song thing along with Ollie's musical accompaniment. And it's all about a couple of troubadours wandering 11th century Aquitaine, placing a bet over who can win such and such maiden's affections. But both of them were scheming against each other with the maiden to trick the other one and win the bet. And hilarity ensues. And you are amazed at this guy's ability to tell a friggin' story. It's utterly natural and completely enthralling.
It's one of those like, how do I react to other than huzzah, huzzah?
Enthusiastic applause.
Yes, indeed.
Even the some of the crew that were in their bunks trying to catch some sleep at the time sort of poked their head out and wanted to see it. And that is Friday, 26th. I will also need for today a roll for spoilage
Spoilage.
on the food, which I keep forgetting to do.
How does that work?
And I'm looking for my note on that because I keep forgetting to do it, so I don't remember. But if memory serves, I think it's a percentage roll. Damn it! Of course, it's not right where I'm looking.
Percentage roll. This is GURPS, damn it.
I don't think I left it as a percentage. I'm pretty sure I broke that down.
Did you make
Okay,
a
there's
table for it?
No, I didn't make a table for it, obviously.
You should have made a table for it.
I should. Okay, there's that. There's that. Well, God damn it. I've made freaking notes for that somewhere.
You're looking
I
at the
guess
wrong
our
place.
food's fine.
I'm
Yep.
telling you. We got
You know,
all
we
the
could
good
just
food.
make a reaction roll and go. Just make it a whole lot easier.
It was gonna be very simple, not a big deal, and no, I remember where it is. Okay, 3d6. Yeah, just a 3d6 roll. And you roll really high.
All of our food spoiled. We died.
Okay. If you had any
dead bird.
if you had any fresh fruit there, some of that would have been lost.
It's clearly the dead bird's fault. Yep.
We make a pie.
Probably the dead bird's fault. So somebody had some apples or something. I don't know. Actually, probably not apples in this region. Probably something citrusy. And
Bananas.
You'll live. Right. Moving on. And if I completely lost my place again?
It's happening a lot.
It does. See, we left on the 24th. Come on, goddammit. Left on the 25th. That was that. Yeah, we should be on the 27th now. Sorry. Yeah. Having one of those days.
No worries.
Unacceptable.
It's somewhat less entertaining.
+1 to navigation.
Okay. Let's see. I wanted to check and see how much farther you had to go, and the answer is you are very nearly there. So that doesn't seem right, though. I guess it's going to end up being closer to 4 days. All right, well. So day's business, navigation roll. +2. Do the thing. Control roll from the, good God. Okay, we're clearly trying to make up
26
time.
roll from the chat room.
3d6 roll from the chat room.
That
And
was not
scouting
including the
roll.
+2 or the assist.
Scouting roll from Davino.
No.
Wow.
12 from the chat
He's
room.
asleep up
Okay. That was
That's no, that's not happening.
that's freaking
there. Oh,
hilarious.
right. He's like, nope, that's not happening. Luck it.
Oh, that's not happening because that's not happening. Very well. That's a good reason to have a PC making that roll too, by the way.
So on a critical failure, he failed to see the mountain we just crashed into.
All right, we got a 12 on the control. And is that 2 rolls?
For luck.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Oh my god. That's so freaking funny.
Man.
Okay, so we're going to end up with 20% for the day.
Damn.
That's and let me check the wind again before I forget that. That's totally. If I had like one more day, I could have finished my goddamn notes. Today's 27th. All right, northeast at 3. Okay, so the winds are going down a little bit more. Alas, no more super speed. Okay, and you're only gonna get about 143 miles today.
So draw your arrow as to where we are.
Stand by. Let's see, so you should have about 50 miles left after that. So you guys are probably going to arrive early on the morrow. So yeah, that's probably about right. Good guess. Actually, I think this will all work out. So, nothing of particular interest happens during the day, but in the wee hours of the night, let's see who's going to be on watch at that point. Let's see, random crew. Henry's on watch, and it's about 01 in the morning when he calls out, "Reef ahead!" And
Did he say reef ahead or reefer ahead?
reef.
Reef ahead.
Nobody knows
Where?
anything about reefers yet.
Well, that's an emergency.
Oh, that's not good.
It's given that it is almost a full moon at this point, so there is some light out. But yeah, he didn't see it very far out. But you are so damned lucky. He just barely saw it in time that you guys could actually redirect and not hit it.
We
We
do
should
so.
do rolls for that.
You did.
What? Why?
Oh, you mean the control roll?
Yeah.
Are you going to screw everybody over? Is that what you're doing?
Trying.
Ha!
Well, let's see which one of you is on watch.
Woohoo!
It's gonna be one of those when John Hayden dies, we'll all be like, he often tried to screw the company over.
See, so
He
I
may
need a
actually
roll
die
off
in
between
5 days.
Rogers
Gotta
and
make
Hayden.
his dying roll in 5 days. Sorry, who was making the roll?
Roll off between Rogers and Hayden.
As in a D6?
Whatever. As long as it's the same.
It is
Reroll.
the same.
Not that the same. All right, Hayden's watch. Who was Hayden's helm? We had it on the thing. That was Mogridge was on the helm when on Hayden's watch. All right, so Mogridge has to roll. So you want me to do it, or you want to do it?
We could roll off his character sheet if you made it available. Just
Yes,
saying.
it's missing some stuff, and I haven't been able to actually get in there and fix that.
Let the chat room roll.
Dude, I can't. Oh, you can't share that. You actually have to stick it in chat. Yeah, chat room, roll. You can screw over everybody. Let's see, that's going to be -2 for control, probably -3 for the C conditions
Chat
as
rolls
well.
10.
And he makes it by 1.
Good job.
So we lose some barnacles.
You missed it. You missed it. You saw it just enough in time that you were able to get clear.
So Hayden will be on the side leaning over the rail, just watching the boat sail past this reef, waiting for the inevitable. And then we pull clear and Hayden will turn back and say, "Well done, Mr. Moggridge. That was close."
I think I need some new pants.
Fetch my brown pants.
Well, they're brown now.
Masterful
well.
sailing.
You managed to squeak that one out. Now it is, I guess that would have been in the morning instead of the evening, but whatever. Now it is Sunday on the 28th.
If Hayden's maps don't show a reef there, he will mark it.
It did not show a reef. And technically, if you had hit that, you could probably have used one of your plot points and say, yeah, we planned for that. So I guess there's that too. At any rate, yeah, day 4. Your expectation is you're going to arrive in Port-de-Paix early. Let's see. I have you currently at 8 hours. That's right, 28th.
Define
Yeah,
early.
it's 28. Stand by. Okay. I have... Yeah, I've completely gotten confused.
That's bad.
I missed something there? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Yeah, I think I had you too close. Okay. The pointer where you are now is, or where I have it pointed now, is where you end up today, not yesterday. You got one more day. Sorry.
Whoa, we keep hitting wormholes.
Well, at least you didn't hit a reef. Day's business. Navigation roll +2. We need a control roll from the chat. Add a -3.
Teaching moment.
Scouting. All right, we're teaching today.
Hey, it's not that boring.
We all roll.
If you want to learn.
Damn.
Again.
It's kind of wasted.
And what am I rolling here?
Do you have navigation?
I have navigation land.
Well, I suppose you'd roll that or IQ. This is to learn, not to actually make it work, but whatever.
But what about, terrain features?
That's all right. He was an amazing teacher today, and you learned a lot.
Oh, the ocean doesn't have, visible terrain features. They're all under the water. God.
All right.
Now you're getting it.
Captain Button rolled shit this time. So we're only getting 10% out of that.
Ramming speed.
Let's see. That's going to put us at... Let me check. God Damn stupid notes. Okay, what the fuck is today? 28th. This makes me sad. All this unpreparedness. I dislike it immensely.
You should have prepared better.
Well, yes, that is a true statement.
He wasn't prepared.
Okay. Winds have gone up a little, which will help. That's why this got all screwy, because the winds were being somewhat less than cooperative. All right, that's better. Back over 7 knots. Okay, this is more like I expected. So, that was all the rolls. Did we do the spotting? Did I miss that? Spotting roll from Davino. -1.
Hey,
Good to go.
didn't suck.
Did not suck today. All right. Now today, for real, you're going to end up about 18 miles out from Port-de-Paix. And sometime during the day, so sometime probably around the dog watch, everybody's at mess, just yapping and eating and stuff. And Geoffroy gets to talking with Claude a little bit. And Claude ends up talking about his training with the guy he calls Philip when he was living in Brest.
Brest.
And Geoffroy was asking about Claude runs around with the Eskrima sticks and asking about what those were. And so Claude's talking about Eskrima and how he's learned that from Philip, who was Filipino. And so it's just a little bit of story time. Nobody actually knew any of that stuff about Claude, and he happened to open up. But Geoffroy did say that, hey, that guy kind of sounds familiar. I may have heard of him. I think he may be here in the Caribbean somewhere. And of course, Claude says that, well, yeah, he actually came here to find him in the Caribbean. And today being Sunday, did you guys do divine service?
Yes.
And for the first time, you're doing divine service where nobody's chasing you. And with that, finally, and I didn't click the other button first. Damn it. Okay, now, 29th. So, you guys are actually going to arrive at port on the 29th around 02 in the morning, starting to turn into a thing.
I need to go ashore before dawn.
And I should have shared that map earlier. That would have been a good idea. But you're not at Santo Domingo anymore. Now you're at San Domingue, which is super confusing. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any good prospect image of Port-de-Paix, but there it is.
Doesn't seem very large.
It's not. It's like most other settlements in the Caribbean. It's not that big. Kingston's only got a population of 5,000, and it's one of the larger ones. The largest in the Caribbean is Havana, and I think that one's around 6,000 or 7,000. But yeah, small. Nice open port. Big fort. Very French. And so, will you be sticking to the usual and parking until daybreak?
Yes.
All right, so sun will rise around 06, and you will enter the port then. So, as I said, Port-de-Paix is French. It is, or was, the capital of the French Caribbean. I think at this point it's probably in the process of being supplanted by Martinique, not unlike Kingston is sort of losing influence to Antigua. And as I said, population around 2K. And I will take a brief intermission. And we will get
Roger.
right back to it.
All right.
All right, we're back.
Yay. All right, Port-de-Paix. Here we go. Be quicker this time. All right, what's everybody doing?
Stuff. Thanks.
Same as before.
Same as before. So you are looking for weapon guys first, then?
Yep.
Evidently, Spencer needs to be at a certain place in a certain at a certain day on a certain hour to meet a certain person to obtain a certain thing.
Okay, let me back up just a second. So we have a few things that we know what to do. We have cargo that was purchased to be sold here by Sir Randall. We have Spencer, who wants to go talk to someone that I don't think he's actually explained to anyone. And as you guys were getting into the boat, preparing to come ashore, Geoffroy asks if at some point, when it's convenient, if we could sail across to Tortuga and help him take care of some of his accounts he needs to settle. Tortuga.
How far away is that?
Just for your information, Tortuga is about 5 miles across the channel to the north. You can see it very clearly from here.
So the question there would be, probably want to know what kind of accounts.
Let's just say he needs to see an old friend about
A horse.
about a debt.
Are there the equivalent of a ferry service going across?
That's ERRY, I presume.
Yes.
Nope, it's AERIE.
Well, I suppose that is possible. However, he did specifically say he would need some assistance. So, in theory, somebody could just go with him.
I'll go. I'm weird. This guy's got me pretty intrigued.
I'm nosy, so I'm interested in investigating.
I'm going to roll a reaction to determine how Hayden feels.
How will that affect your merchanting?
That's a really good question.
I don't know.
You could do that first and then go, or you could do it later. Right? Well, he did say at your convenience, so it doesn't have to happen immediately.
After our merchanting.
So, do business early and then afternoon get over there?
I'm interested to see Tortuga.
All right. In the meantime, what shall you be doing? Spencer, you going with you and Randall doing the merchanting together again?
It depends on what my specific time is.
You don't have a specific time. You know you have to be there at a specific time and place, but you don't actually know what that time is.
I don't even know where that place is.
So you're kind of just following your gut at the moment.
True. I guess I'll go with Sir Randall. I got to keep an eye on him in case he's actually the Master of Crows.
And this is a French port, right?
This is a French port.
It's always been French?
Well, not always, but it hasn't changed hands recently.
Oh, well, in that case.
Who is Dora gonna hang out with today?
Rogers.
Apparently Rogers.
Wow.
I was kidding.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't actually see the roll. I was thinking you were reading that.
It's going to be one of those meetings at the brothel, hey?
She may regret going that way. Or she may
not. Then afterwards, we're like, hey, why are you trying to avoid Dora? I don't want to talk about it.
Avoid?
Yeah.
So what was Hayden doing?
She's into some kinky shit. It scares him away.
Right. Hayden failed his obsession roll, so he's compelled to go and try and find some info on his son.
Okay.
Being either British or Spanish port, I guess his best option is the bars. So bars on the docks.
Yeah. Okay.
Just listen for rumors, knowledge. I guess that would be a carousing
We'll call that
roll.
docks. No, that would be. Well, let me consider that for a moment while I deal with the other ones that I actually know. First off, let's do the IQ check for Davino to see if he can find some weapons related work. Okay. you do manage to find a guy. Actually, let me take that back. You don't speak French.
No, I don't.
So if you -3 that, then actually that would probably be -6 because you don't speak it broken either. Yeah, you were unable to find anybody that would be willing to pay an English-speaking man to
No bilingual
help
weapons.
them.
Dang it.
Well, they're probably all bilingual, but not specifically one that you speak. I tell you what, go ahead and give me a reaction roll. Maybe you get lucky. Okay, you got lucky. There's an English speaker.
You got really lucky.
All right.
All right, well, you got a guy that will pay you. And since you're looking for weapon-related work, this is actual craft stuff. Basically, normally this would be covered by some kind of guild contract, but this guy will let you work sort of under the table because he's got a couple of things he needs help with, and you walked into the shop and you're like, yeah, I know this and this and this. It's like, yeah, I'll give you a couple of bucks if you help me out here.
Sounds good.
So it'll be better than the porter job that you had before. I will get back to you on the amounts because I will have to figure that out. Next, Payne and Spencer are doing the merchant stuff. So that sounds funnier when you say it that way. First off, the selling of the cargo that you have will be the merchant roll. At this point, what is your fluency in French? I think that's accented.
Accented, yes.
So it'd be -1 for that. 1 day's worth. You can also take more time if you want to do that sort of thing.
Yes.
So you want to double it?
Yes.
Take 2 days? All right, so that'll get you a +1. And then you'll get the assist from Spencer if he's helping you.
I'll take a 0.
Or is Spencer
You said
doing
there
it?
was a +2, didn't you? There was a +2, and then there's a -1 for the language, and then there's a +1.
No, actually, I guess the +2 would apply here. It is in demand, so lucky you. Or well played, you.
Right, so I'll be assisting him then.
So that's a +4 total? Well, if you can't make that, you're having a bad day.
Governor's Ball.
Stand by on that one.
All right, merchant. Is the merchant thing?
Yeah.
So,
Very nice.
it's very nice.
Good God, again? Okay, well, you walk into a guy's shop and say, we have goods. We have English goods to sell. He's like, I would like to buy English goods. Let me see what you have.
Zip, thump.
So he'll make some arrangements. You guys will go out to the ship. He'll have a look at what you got. You'll show him, and then start negotiating for the price. Give me the 3d6 for the actual price roll +2.
So this is the...
And you want a high.
Right. Reaction roll.
Much better.
I would have lucked this.
Really?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, Okay. I guess. Won't make it worse.
Exactly.
That's not lucky.
No.
That's not lucky either.
All right, we'll take the luck. The 15.
All right. Well, you got 140% on that one, so you will be making a profit.
Money, money, money.
I am going to write a note down because I'll probably deal with that off screen.
You'll have to, because we can't edit the money in the party sheet.
Can you not?
Nope.
I may have to look into that. All right, so I got you down for 140%. All right, so you guys won't make the arrangements to actually unload everything today, since you're taking your time. So you're technically feeling out other buyers. You kind of use that as part of your ploy here. But you're pretty good for it on that one. So you got 2 others if you're looking for either passengers or freight, and you need to post your destination, which I believe at this point is going to be New Providence, Nassau. And if memory serves, that is going to be about 400 miles. A little over 400 miles, less than 5.
Okay.
So
So
the population there is very small, and there's nothing in demand. Well, let me rephrase that. Everything there is in demand because they don't make a damn thing over there, except maybe some sugar. There are some sugar plantations. So chances are pretty good there's not going to be a whole lot going out there, but you can always look.
Right. So am I helping you, Mark, or what?
Sure.
All right. So that means I need to make 2 merchant checks for assists.
Do that.
You're teaching
Mine
me. So
Zwei.
ooh.
Both of those are +1 assist.
And I guess you gotta let me out the training wheel sometime, right?
Indeed. Well,
Almost tried to fail that one.
Well, I just succeeded by 0 on that one, so
Ooh.
all right. Well, so like I told him last time, you know that there are some fairly hefty penalties involved here, and chances are you're probably not going to get anything out of that, but you posted, and you'll wait to see if you get any answers. So little afternoon, you guys are done with all that, and you can go help out Geoffroy. In the meantime, let's see. So Rogers is actually going to a brothel.
Without me?
And-
Oh.
It has a reputation.
Actually, let me deal with Hayden first. So Hayden can give me a social engineering check of some form or another. You can include the +2 for a carousing success if you want to do that. I think that's probably legitimate.
Okay, so I'll roll carousing first.
Yep. Okay.
So no bonus.
Well, no, if you're spending money on that, you can get a bonus on that. You got some money left, right?
Yes.
So you buy some drinks, you can get rid of that minus. Or you can get you a +1 and get you into success territory.
Okay,
No
so
biggie.
how much money?
All of it.
Don't recall, but you're gonna buy a few drinks, so you're gonna be out a few shillings at least. Or maybe like 1 shilling. Right. Drinks are pence.
So I've dropped 1 shilling, so that becomes a success, and I don't think I've got any appropriate social engineering, so it will be an IQ roll.
You can just do reaction. In this case, that's probably good enough. Since you are specifically doing Navy stuff here, I'll go ahead and give you at least 1 for the courtesy rank. Or, actually, what did you say the status was for that? Is that 1 or 2?
5.
It's
Status,
5,
not the...
so I think that's a +2. I think.
I think you may be right. I think it's probably 2, so we'll consider it 2. So reaction +4, I think, is going to be your total.
Righto.
So you ought to do pretty well. Oh, language.
So -3.
Do you speak French at all?
No.
Yeah, so you can't even communicate with them. But I tell you what, I'll give you the -6 for not speaking it at all, and we'll let that cover your finding somebody that can speak it well enough to actually be helpful.
So
Otherwise,
overall
you'll just have a good time.
Overall is -2.
So that'll be a -2. And of course, in order to get the bonus for the courtesy rank, you have to dress like you're a freaking captain. Which I know Rogers does that.
I will indeed do that.
Yeah.
So no luck.
Apparently nobody here likes English. All right, well, you do at least spend some money on drinks, and you talk to people who don't understand you, and apparently don't like English.
But they're happy to take your money to drink.
They will be happy to do that at least. But you can look around at the postings. Some of it might be in English or intelligible at least. And maybe pick up on something, who knows. In the meantime, though, Rogers is headed out to find a brothel. And, well,
A
brothels
specific
aren't that
one that
hard
I've
to
heard
find.
of that's famous.
He's headed for a specific one that he's heard of that's famous. And oddly enough, Dora's following you, not knowing where you're going exactly.
Yeah, I don't speak English. I mean, I only speak English. What is it that she speaks?
Dutch.
Nothing.
And only Dutch?
Yeah.
She speaks nothing.
Well, she speaks nothing.
Well, I would try to explain where I'm going, but she might think that I'm asking her to do something, so I'll just go.
You start poking around at sort of the red light district, as it were, and as soon as she realizes what you're up to, she rolls her eyes and just sort of waves and turns around and goes back.
Tip my hat.
Maybe sees like Randall and Spencer, moving through the people asking the merchanty stuff.
And as you are approaching, you finally found the place that you were looking for. As you're approaching, you hear a familiar female voice from behind somewhere call out your name, Buck.
I turn and see who it is.
Buck.
That's awesome.
It is, in fact, Wilhelmina Deering. You knew her from back in your Navy days, and she's dressed very finely and very surprised to see you.
Is she Mrs.
And-
Deering or Miss?
Well, the last you heard, there was just Miss. And since
okay.
she's still Deering, that means probably not married.
How does he know
Well,
that she's still Deering?
Miss
She's
Deering.
not like
Oh,
Of
well,
all the
guess
places
I
in the
hadn't
world.
said.
an odd place to find you, ma'am.
She asked, I'd ask what you're up to, but I think I know. How have
You
you,
know me
been
too well.
doing? And,
Very well. I've left the service.
She's totally the madam.
And how are you?
I am
She's
doing
the madam.
well. And she says that, well, she hasn't exactly left the service.
Oh,
And you will recall that she, you have known her to be a longtime agent of the Crown. Though
okay.
which Crown she was an agent of has always been a bit sketchy.
Gotcha.
Wilhelmina de Winter.
She is the Irene Adler to your Sherlock Holmes.
Got it.
And she says, well, I don't want to stop you from your business today, but
You'd be like, unless you would have joined me.
No,
I would
I'll-
love
I'll-
to. I would love for
Yeah,
us
I'll
to
say
have
nonsense.
dinner
Let's
tonight.
dine. You read my
It is-
mind.
It is still early, but she says if you meet at this hotel in the evening, I will. We can catch up.
It will be my pleasure to meet you there. Good to
And
see
then
you again.
she will move on, and
Huh.
it's got that reflective look in her eyes, like what a nice meeting out of nowhere.
Did you
Surely,
Photoshop that image, or it was just fortunate?
No, I photoshopped that. It probably could use a little more work, actually.
It looks good.
I don't know.
I'm
I
just-
couldn't tell.
I'm just happy everybody got it.
Yeah, well, we're all old. Ethan's
Yep, I
probably
got it
looking
right
at
away.
it going, I don't get it.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's a child.
She was,
so.
She was another character on Buck Rogers in the 80s TV show that my character is based on.
And by the way, if you hadn't just figured it out, your damn treasure map roll finally came up.
Haha.
Colonel Darling.
So yeah, I'll go about my business that I was planning, and then meet her later in the evening.
Okay, so having touched on everybody at this point, sometime afternoonish, Sir Randall
Deering.
and Dr. Spencer are done with their merchant business, and they
Hello,
can.
Dora. I thought you
And
were
they
hanging out
they
with
run into
Lieutenant Rogers.
She makes the finger in the hole and waves it off like it's nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna try to do to explain where I was going. Like do that and then hook my thumb over my shoulder, but then I was like, no, she might think that's a question.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know if she would have taken it that way, but who knows? That would have been a gesture fail, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you guys can find Geoffroy. He is waiting at some bar somewhere that he agreed to meet you at. Says, we ready?
I
For a
suppose
bit of
so.
adventure, always.
Oh, certainly no adventure here.
Well, you still haven't quite given me what you were doing digging up graves.
Well, as it happens, I need your help with that. So,
Are we digging up graves?
you guys you'll get a boat. I guess you could just row your own. It's only 5 miles. Well, that's a bit. I don't know. You could take a fishing boat across. I'm sure somebody will
5
ferry you
miles
for.
is a lot.
Well, that's on ocean too, so it's not going to be. It's not going to be smooth. So as you guys are sailing over on some fisherman's boat, he will show you the locket that he had taken off the corpse that he had opened the grave of, and say that this locket belongs to the lover of one Falco Rinders, who I am going to meet. Well, that is, I need you to deliver a message to him for me.
A message.
Why can't
Another
you
one of your-
deliver this message?
Well, you see, he is a coward, and I can't seem to get close to him enough to actually arrange to meet. So I figure if you take a message to him, he will receive it, and then we can make other arrangements. So I have this letter. I'll show you a piece of paper. It's folded up and sealed, and this locket, and I would like you to take it to him and get his reply.
Well, I did tell you this was going to come back and bite us in the bum there, Sir Randall.
Well,
What does this letter say? I'm curious.
yeah, I know. Is it something we can read, or is it?
Is this
sealed,
fellow
or-
going to try to shoot us? Because I would hate I don't want to be shot.
It's a personal matter about a debt. I'm sure it wouldn't interest
He
you.
owes you, you owe him,
Eh,
you owe someone else.
Bit of both.
Does the person who owes go to a lot of trouble to go looking for the other party?
Generally,
Well,
no.
It depends, maybe. I mean, he did say he's here settling his debts, so maybe.
Oh.
At any rate,
Yeah, but a Lannister always pays his debts.
indeed. I have no idea how long it would take to sail across that channel. Probably not that long. 20, 30 minutes maybe at most. And the town there on Tortuga is not what it used to be. Used to be the big pirate haven. Now it's just kind of boring, honestly. You'd have to ask around about the man that he mentioned, which I have there so you can actually see it.
What an odd sort of name.
You recognize that immediately as Dutch, or probably around that area. And you can
Keep
start
expecting
asking
to tell me
around.
he's going to rock me Amadeus.
You start asking around town, and it doesn't take you very long to get somebody to point you out to a reasonably nice house out on the outskirts, that little personal farm, and that's where they say he lives.
Well, let's go knock on the door.
Tap, tap, tap.
The door is answered by a servant, and she asks in French what it is you're here for.
Delivering a message for a Mr. Falco Reginders.
Monsieur Falco
Reinders.
Reinders.
Looks like there's a J in it.
And
I'm American. J's are pronounced.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. She calls out, and eventually a large bearded fellow comes up and takes the letter and opens it, and you show him the locket. His demeanor changes to very, very angry and goes off on this tirade, smashing things in the house and yelling in a language you don't understand.
That's
Sounds
not-
vaguely Dutch-like, some kind of dialect, maybe. And the servant just kind of stays at the door, sort of watching him and
We're
jumping
watching.
every time he breaks stuff. And dude's just tearing everything up. And eventually he calms down enough that he can come back to the door and says, "Tell him I will come."
Very good, sir.
And I will,
Apologize for ruining your day.
and I will drink from his skull when this is over.
I will pass that information on.
Wow.
I know, right? Geoffroy, how do you pronounce it
Geoffroy.
in French? Geoffroy has some strange friends.
Agreed.
You get the impression this is not friendly. So you return to the boat, and
Your message
and
has
he's
been
there.
delivered, sir.
I do not think he took it very well.
Yes, he took it poorly. He said he will come and he will drink wine from your skull.
Well, we'll see about that. Excellent.
Careful if you're going to ask us if you need a second.
Well, as it
That
happens,
fellow was
I
rather large.
do think I need to take another little trip, if you are amenable.
Yeah, again, this little adventure has got me intrigued. I'm at your service, Jaffa.
So he goes over
I
to the
really shouldn't, but
he goes over to the boatman and pays him, and at first he's like, "Huh? Okay, you're paying me, so." And says, "Well, come on. There's an island over there. We'll be going to there."
I'm going to start asking Jaffa about, what he knows of, treasures, treasure maps, that kind of stuff, and particularly with regards to, my goodness, Morgan.
Bringing up Captain Morgan, huh?
Yep.
Says, "Oh, that old guy."
Right. That old guy.
That crazy bastard. At first he was all full of rum and adventure, and then he was just full of rum. And then he died. Or so I hear. Yes, he's supposedly hid treasure everywhere. I myself don't know of anyone in particular. Did you mention Campeche?
Yep.
I think yes. Did he not sack Campeche at one point? And I believe there was something. He didn't talk about it to everyone, but there was something about. I think it was called the Treasury. I have to think about that. Maybe I can remember something. So another 20-30 minutes, and you guys arrive at a very small island off the side of Tortuga. And as far as you can tell, nobody lives here because there's nowhere to live on it. And you arrive at the island, beach the boat effectively, and he says, "Well, you're welcome to wait here." And he hops out and basically sits on the beach. Says he'll be along any time now.
Where is here? What's the significance of this particular place? If there was going to be a duel, I would assume that a duel could be handled just about anywhere.
Oh, this is there's an old man that we used to know together that lived here. He had a place here. It's long since been wiped out, but it just happens to be a place that we both know, and it is remote. We will bother no one here.
With what? I'm sure duels occur all the time.
Dueling is illegal in France.
Oh.
And that stops them, right?
Yeah, no. So, in another 20-30 minutes, he says, "Oh, he's coming." And sure enough, you look over there and you can see another boat coming on the horizon. He says, "Well, I must take my leave."
Wait.
This is a personal matter, of course, as you know, so you needn't follow. And if he pulls the sword out. And this is the first time you've actually seen him uncover that sword, and you can make a IQ-based sword roll on one of your sword-related melee skills.
How do I do that again?
Drag the skill button to the IQ.
The actual level,
Like that.
or
No,
the
the skill, the dice.
roll?
The die button.
So,
Either the
you
die
grab,
button
like,
or
for me,
the
it was
level.
click. Yeah,
Oh,
I
that works?
clicked rapier. I clicked the dice by rapier and dragged it up and dropped it on the IQ.
There you go. Okay, so you guys both recognize this style of sword as being very old, dating back to what we would refer to as the Viking period. It's very good condition and gilded, very nice looking.
They're Highlanders.
And
It's a very nice sword.
Yep.
I was about to say this is the only one.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm also going to, like, if I'm not mistaken, and then kind of give off a little bit of the potential origin of the sword. So,
he's in the process of walking out in the woods and basically calls back to say, if he returns first, then leave without me. I'll be dead.
You're talking about we're freaking gonna end up sneaking up there to
Yeah.
watch.
Well, of
That's
course.
what I'm gonna be like, I'm sneaking over and see what's happening.
Because, like
Wait,
I
wait,
said,
wait.
it's like Spencer is gonna look at Randall, and I figure they sort of look at one another, and they both sort of shrug and then sneak after it.
Yep.
All right, well, some minutes later.
Totally. I'm crit failing my curious roll here.
Absolutely.
Some
I've
minutes
only got
later.
it at quirk level, and I clearly rolled a 20 on 3d6. I don't understand how that happened.
And I'm
But-
impulsive as hell, so...
Some minutes later, the other boat arrives, and the big fellow is at the head of it, just chomping to get out. And he leaps out into the surf, not even waiting for the boat to get ashore, and starts clambering forward. He has a sword with him as well, and from the look of it is very nice. Look like a transitional rapier of some kind. Shavana maybe. Got a nice basket hilt and everything. Very impressed. And he doesn't say anything to you guys. He just stomps right off into the interior of the island.
And since he didn't tell us we couldn't follow him,
That's right.
So I guess you guys can make a stealth roll if you like.
Holy crap!
other
I
guy didn't-
succeeded.
The other guy didn't tell you not to follow him. He just said it wasn't necessary.
that's true. What is stealth again?
Stealth.
How do I not have stealth?
Dex.
How do you
Dex
not have
minus
stealth?
5, I think, is what your default is. Or is it IQ minus 5? I think it's IQ minus 5. It's D&D that makes it Dex.
Oh!
Holy God! Well, you're very sneaky. Well, you're moderately sneaky for someone that doesn't know how to sneak. Let me rephrase that. So, as you are walking through the jungle, it's not very far, obviously. One of the first things you notice is you hear the sounds of obvious sword clashings and cursing. You're also aware that there are some clouds that passed over the sun that aren't going away.
It really is Highlander.
And as you get back and you part the bushes in front of you, you see the two of them in sort of a stone circle area cleared off. And first thing is the skill at which these two are fighting is just unbelievable. You've never seen anybody move that way. The second thing is there are sparks flying off the swords like they're on fire, which you've never seen and can't possibly explain, except maybe the clouds are building up around here and it's sort of like a St. Elmo's fire kind of thing.
Yeah.
In a very British way, I'm gonna, comment to Randall with a, huh.
Color me impressed.
They fight for some minutes, and they both strike each other a few times, and those cuts look pretty bad, but they keep fighting through it. And
Good thing that you're here,
I
Spencer.
actually want
just
to
in
make
case.
a check. I think it's going to be that one. Whoops, never mind. Maybe it should have been first aid, because I was trying to determine if it's like, that should have been a crippling injury or wounded one.
That would have been diagnosis.
Diagnosis. Yes. Okay. What's my diagnosis? It would have been the same.
okay, well, it's not that hard to
Yeah, if it's
deduce.
routine, it's like if that
From,
should have killed that person.
It's
or...
not that should have killed, but the fact that he kept going through that even afterward, those are some internal injuries right there, and they just keep fighting on. And as they keep fighting, it just keeps getting darker, and the wind is kicked up. It's not quite a water spout, but it's definitely rocking the island at this point. And eventually, Geoffroy gets the better of the other guy. He's stabbed him one too many times, and he's fallen to his knees. And
There can be only one.
he hauls that sword back, and it starts sparking out of the air, and he says, "Es kann nur einen geben," and
Wow.
cuts his head off with one shot.
Should I recognize the language?
It's German. That's
I need to
probably
learn
not
German.
exactly what. You could probably pick out some of it. You've got enough linguistics experience. You could eventually figure it out. So, cuts the guy's head off. Body falls down, and Geoffroy falls to his knees temporarily, and then the weird shit happens.
Oh, I was
As if
totally gonna
everything else
say.
wasn't weird.
I was totally gonna say Spencer's probably gonna have like taken a step forward. Planning on. Do you need medical aid?
Yeah,
And then
you're
weird
probably
shit
thinking about
happens.
that just for a second, and then the lightning starts hitting and striking right down the sword of Geoffroy, and
Now he definitely needs
there's a
medical aid.
glow and he ends up being picked up off the ground, floating in midair, while the headless body of the other guy floats off the ground in midair and just hangs there. The wind is deafening at this point on top of the lightning, and trees are getting stripped, coconuts exploding everywhere, and then it all just dies.
You so should have cast him as that good as Ramirez.
No. Ramirez is still running around, right? Actually, no, he isn't. Ramirez is dead.
That's true. Ramirez died in the 1600s when the
Connor is still around.
when the Kurgan killed him. I think it was like 1625 or something like that.
Eventually.
Well, that
uh,
happened.
eventually, Geoffroy
What? We
picks
just
himself
watched.
back up after being struck by lightning how many times and all that, and being stabbed repeatedly. He gets back up, goes over to the body, kicks it a couple of times, picks up the sword, and walks right over to you guys in the bushes.
Do I need to ask if you need medical attention, sir?
He says you do not in Dutch. You remember him specifically saying when you were talking to him about Dora that he does not speak Dutch.
Ah, interesting.
He does now.
And he looks at the sword and tosses it to Randall.
Sure.
I think you can use that.
That's right, Mark. You're gonna
Thank
die
you.
in combat and wake back up. He's here
Somebody
as your
is.
Ramirez.
Yep, one of us is an immortal and doesn't know it yet.
Well,
I suppose we're not going to get a proper explanation for this sort of thing.
I don't think you would believe it if I told you.
You might be surprised.
we have
You
to
should
see-
ask
might
him
be.
about mermen.
After the last 10 minutes.
Yep, and
Not to mention
yeah.
the ghost ship some days ago.
Yep, ghost ship, merman, people cutting
Giant
people's
spider
heads
lady.
off, lightning. I think we're just starting to get used to this kind of thing.
It's the whole
You should-
last month, really.
In fact, we had this really interesting encounter with some mermen.
Merman. I don't think
Jumped
such a
right
thing
up on our ship.
exists.
They were Selkies. They weren't mermen.
Selkies, merman, same thing.
Wait, you say you saw a man on deck and then you saw a shark.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Perhaps he was Rokea.
Is that a type of merman?
What did they call a were shark? I've heard of this.
Huh.
Nope,
We could stand to hear some more.
nope, nope, nope.
Roger's like, you're going to have to pry me out of this brothel.
Never
So-
leaving here
Stay
again.
here.
You guys have a very interesting boat ride back to Port-de-Paix. In the meantime, evening rolls on. There was some weird noises out to sea somewhere. You guys weren't sure what was going on out there, but you were taking care of your own business.
Sounds
So
like a
Hayden
storm.
is still Hayden's still hitting the bars, trying to communicate, not getting very far. Let's see.
I'm just thinking, how exactly does a were shark work? On the full moon, do you just turn into a shark and flop around on the land?
Probably best not to think about it too hard. Let me see. I think I'm gonna save that part for later. So, let's say this is getting on toward the evening, and Mr. Rogers is going to meet
Lieutenant Rogers, not Mr. Rogers.
Lieutenant Rogers is going to go
It's a
meet
wonderful
with
day in the neighborhood.
Wilhelmina Deering at her hotel. And
Oh no, there's an Assassin's Creed thing there.
shush. And you guys have dinner. She has it brought up to her room, and you guys have a very pleasant evening as far as all that goes. Good food, French food. It's a decent hotel. There, whoever's paying her salary is paying her well still. And after
Is
dinner,
it more sexy good times?
after dinner, she
It's none of your business.
pours a couple of glasses of wine and gives you one, and then as you're sipping on it, she says,
She just
I
murdered
have a proposal for you if you're interested. And she sidles up next to you.
I'm interested in hearing what it is.
She sidles up next to you, gives you those big doe eyes,
And stabs you with a knife.
takes your hand
Shut up, you.
and slips a ring on it and says, I need you to marry me.
Ah!
Cut to black. Roll credits.
Nice.
Cue the music.
Oh, man. That's not how I thought this was going.
Nailed it. Oh.
And the Russian judges have given you a 9.9. All right.
Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I really wanted it to end right there because that's perfect. All right. One character point for everybody.
Rogers will, in the after credit scene, Rogers will gulp the entire glass of wine and then fade to black again.
Nice.
Let's see. I probably should have had some fright checks there for the.
Well, I rolled one. I
Did you?
figured that was going to be called for.
Need a fright check for Rogers.
Ha!
No, not yet.
Not in
So
combat.
yeah, I don't think we have any. I don't think we have to deal with any stability issues at this point. I think we're pretty much covered. Anybody have any last second business to deal with?
Don't think so.
No. Other than I'm going to be quizzing the crap out of this Highlander
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Well, that's not over yet either.
And he just gave Brandel a magic sword. As far as I'm concerned, it's a
It
magic
could be
sword.
magic.
Could just be really
well,
high quality,
or that.
which is also super good.
I will. So I will deal with the specifics on payments and that sort of thing on the boards afterward. And I was going to apologize for cutting it a little short, actually, because this week has just been crap
But you
for
did.
me.
You did. It's 9 o'clock.
It's not particularly
Well,
short.
technically, but we got like 30 minutes late start, so it's still kind of short. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's all fine.
It's fine. This
How
is
are
fine.
you?
So if nobody has anything else, if you are watching this and you have questions, corrections, suggestions, or general hecklings, feel free to leave a comment here or find us on Discord.
There
which
can be
I
only
always
one.
Forget to look at. Thank you for watching. Olympus out.
Good night, stream.
See you, stream.
There can be only one.